The alarm screamed through every corridor of the celestial harmony. Red emergency lights painted the walls in blood-colored shadows. Hyunwoo dropped his tools and grabbed the nearest wall panel as the entire ship shuddered. All crew, this is Captain Taewon. We have a containment breach in cargo hold 7. Specimen 7 is loose. I repeat, Specimen 7 has broken free. Hyunwoo's blood went cold. He had seen the creature once 3 days ago when they loaded it onto the ship. Even drugged and locked behind quantum restraints, it had been terrifying. 12 feet of armored nightmare with forearms that ended in claws longer than his fingers. Its skin looked like black metal plates and strange glowing marks covered its body. The other crew members called it a monster from hell. They said it came from Vex Prime, a death world where everything evolved to kill. Hyunwoo, where are you? Daeshik's voice crackled through his earpiece. The first officer sounded scared, and Daeshik never sounded scared. He had fought in wars. He had seen things that gave other people nightmares. I'm in the lower engine room, Hyunwoo replied. He was already moving toward the exit. I'm heading to the emergency shelter now. Negative. Blast doors are coming down in 10 seconds. You won't make it. Find somewhere to hide and stay quiet. Do not make any noise. That thing can hear a heartbeat from 50 feet away. The heavy blast doors began sliding closed with a grinding metal sound. Hyunwoo ran, but he knew he was too far. The doors sealed with a final boom that echoed through the empty corridor. He was trapped on the wrong side. Trapped down here with that thing. His hands shook as he pulled up the emergency map on his tablet. The lower decks were a maze of storage rooms, maintenance tunnels, and cargo bays. Too many places for something to hide. Too many places for him to die alone. Hyunwoo, can you hear me? Ji-won's voice came through his earpiece. The medical officer sounded calm, but he could hear the worry underneath. We're tracking the creature on sensors. It's moving through the cargo bay area. You need to get to storage room 12B and lock yourself inside. How long until you can open the blast doors? Hyunwoo whispered. He was already moving, trying to keep his footsteps quiet. 2 hours minimum, Captain Taewon answered. The quantum restraints damaged the door controls when they failed. We're working on it. 2 hours. Hyunwoo had to survive for 2 hours down here with a creature that was built to kill. His throat felt tight. He wanted to be back on Earth, back home where the most dangerous thing he faced was his mother's anger when he came home late for dinner. A sound echoed through the corridor. Metal scraping against metal. Claws on steel floors. It's moving, young Mi whispered through the comm. She was the communications officer, watching everything on the security cameras. It's heading toward the maintenance section. Hyunwoo, that's where you are. Hyunwoo pressed himself against the wall. His heart hammered so hard he thought it might break through his chest. The creature could hear heartbeats. Could it hear his now? He forced himself to breathe slowly. In and out, in and out. His grandfather had taught him this when he was young and afraid of storms. Slow breathing makes slow thoughts. Slow thoughts make smart choices. The scraping sound came closer. Hyunwoo could see his breath in the cold air. When had it gotten so cold? The ship's heating must be damaged too. Then he saw it. A shadow moved at the end of the corridor. Too big to be human. Too many arms. The bioluminescent marks on its body glowed a deep red color, pulsing like angry warning lights. Its multiple eyes caught the emergency lighting and reflected it back like a cat's eyes in darkness. Oh God, someone whispered over the comm. Maybe Bora, the security officer. Maybe Minseo from engineering. Hyunwoo couldn't tell. His ears were filled with the sound of his own pulse. The creature stepped into the light. It was even bigger than he remembered. Its head nearly touched the ceiling. Each of its forearms moved independently, claws scraping the walls as it walked. Its mouth was closed, but he could see the hint of too many teeth behind those lips. Don't move, Daeshik ordered. Don't even breathe hard. Maybe it won't see you, but it did see him. All of those eyes turned and focused directly on Hyunwoo. The creature went completely still. They stared at each other across 30 feet of corridor. Hunter and prey, monster and human. Hyunwoo waited for it to attack, waited for those claws to tear him apart. His life didn't flash before his eyes like people said it would. Instead, he thought about his sister's graduation next month. He would miss it. She would be so angry at him. But the creature didn't attack. It just stood there watching him. Its bioluminescent marks flickered. Red, then orange, then back to red. The pattern was irregular, like a broken light. Why isn't it moving? Young Mai asked. Frakons sometimes play with their food. Ji-won said quietly. They're intelligent hunters. It might be deciding the best way to kill him. Hyunwoo looked closer at the creature. really looked at it, the way his grandfather taught him to look at injured animals. See past the fear. See what's really there. The creature's body was covered in scars, old ones layered over each other like a map of pain. Burns that had healed badly, long cuts that crossed its armored plates, what looked like surgical marks on its chest. One of its 4 arms hung at a wrong angle, not quite moving like the others. And its eyes. Hyunwoo had expected them to be empty. Monster eyes. Killing eyes. But there was something else there. Something that made his chest hurt to see fear. The creature was afraid. It's not hunting, Hyunwoo whispered. What? Daeshik asked. Look at its posture. Look at how it's standing. Hyunwoo kept his voice low and calm. It's not in an attack position. It's defensive. It's scared. It's a Vrakon, Daeshik said. They don't get scared. They're apex predators. But Hyunwoo had grown up around animals. His family ran a wildlife rehabilitation center on Earth. He had seen this exact stance 1,000 times before. In injured dogs that bit because they hurt. In cats that hissed because they didn't understand that humans wanted to help. In every scared creature that attacked because it thought it had no other choice. The creature took a step forward. Everyone on the comm started yelling at once, telling him to run, to hide, to do something. But Hyunwoo didn't run. Slowly, carefully, he sat down on the floor. He made himself smaller. Less threatening. What are you doing? Bora shouted. Hyunwoo didn't answer. He kept his movements slow and gentle. Then he started talking, not in Galactic Standard, but in Korean. The language of his childhood. The words his grandfather used with frightened animals. It's okay. Nobody's going to hurt you. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. The creature tilted its massive head. Its bioluminescent marks shifted from red to a confused purple color. It took another step closer, then stopped. Listening, Hyunwoo kept talking, kept his voice soft and steady. He told the creature about Earth, about rain and trees and the smell of his mother's cooking. It didn't matter what he said. Animals didn't understand words. They understood tone. They understood intention. Minutes passed. Then an hour. The creature moved closer inch by inch. Finally, it settled down into a crouch about 15 feet away. Still watching him. Still wary. But its bioluminescent marks had changed to a deep blue color that Hyunwoo had never seen before. What's happening? Captain Taewon asked quietly. Hyunwoo smiled just a little. I think we're talking. 3 hours had passed since Hyunwoo sat down on the cold metal floor. The creature hadn't moved from its position 15 feet away. Neither had he. His legs were numb and his back ached, but he didn't dare shift position too quickly. The crew argued over the comm channel. Half of them wanted to pump sleeping gas into the corridor. The other half worried it might make the creature attack Hyunwoo before it fell unconscious. Captain Taewon had ordered everyone to wait while they worked on opening the blast doors. Talk to me, Hyunwoo, Jiwon said softly. Tell me what you see. Hyunwoo studied the creature in the dim emergency lighting. Scars everywhere, some are old, maybe years old. Burns across its chest plates. Long cuts on its arms and legs. And marks that look like surgery scars. Surgery? Jiwon sounded surprised. Vrakons don't perform surgery on themselves. They're too primitive for that. Then someone else did it. Hyunwoo noticed more details the longer he looked. One of its arms doesn't move right. See the upper left one? It keeps it close to its body, and the way it's sitting puts less weight on its right leg. It's injured, Youngmi said, not just injured. These scars are layers deep. This thing has been hurt over and over again for a long time. Hyunwoo felt anger rise in his chest. What had they done to this creature? The Vrakon's head tilted slightly. Its bioluminescent marks flickered from blue to purple and back again. It was watching his face, studying him the same way he studied it. I'm going to try something, Hyunwoo said. Don't yell at me. Hyunwoo, no, Daeshik started, but Hyunwoo was already moving. Slowly, so slowly it took almost a minute, Hyunwoo reached for his belt. The creature tensed. Its claws scraped against the floor. The marks on its body flashed red for a second. But Hyunwoo kept moving at the same slow pace. No sudden movements. No threats. He pulled out his emergency food ration. A sealed bar of compressed nutrients that tasted like cardboard but kept people alive. He held it up so the creature could see it, then gently slid it across the floor. It stopped about 8 feet away from the Vrakon. The creature stared at the food bar, then at Hyunwoo, then back at the food. It didn't take the offering, but something changed in its posture. The tension in its shoulders relaxed just a little. Why aren't you eating it? Minxia whispered over the comm. Jiwan answered before Hyunwoo could. It doesn't trust the food. Or it's not hungry. Or both. The creature made a sound. Not a roar or a growl. A low, resonant hum that vibrated through the floor plates. Hyunwoo felt it in his chest like standing too close to a large engine. What was that? Bora asked. I don't know, Hyunwoo admitted. But something about the sound tugged at his memory. He had heard something similar before, back at the rehabilitation center. The noise wasn't aggressive. It was something else. Hours continued to pass. The crew worked on the blast doors. Hyunwoo stayed still and occasionally spoke soft words in Korean. The creature listened, its head tilting at different tones. Its bioluminescent patterns shifted through colors, blue, purple, sometimes a soft green. Then Young Mi's voice came through the comm, tight with anger. Captain, I accessed the classified files on Specimen 7. You need to see this. Send it to my station, Taewon replied. Several minutes of silence followed. Hyunwoo waited, watching the creature watch him. Then he heard Captain Taewon curse. The captain never cursed. Tell him, Daeshik said quietly. He deserves to know. Hyunwoo. The captain's voice was heavy. That creature wasn't captured from Vex Prime. It was born in a laboratory. An illegal bioweapons facility? The words hit Hyunwoo like cold water. What? They were trying to breed controllable super soldiers from Vrakon genetic material, Young Mi explained. Her voice shook with rage. Specimen 7, that creature sitting near you, survived 17 others who died during testing. The files describe combat trials, pain resistance conditioning, psychological stress experiments. They tortured it for years. Hyunwoo's hands curled into fists. The creature's head came up, sensing the change in his emotional state. He forced himself to breathe slowly again, forced the anger down where it couldn't scare the Vrakon. When the Galactic Authority raided the facility, Jiwon continued, they scheduled all the surviving specimens for euthanasia. Too dangerous to rehabilitate, they said. But someone sold this one to a black market zoo collector instead. That's why we're transporting it. To another cage, Hyunwoo whispered. To another place where people will hurt it. The creature made that humming sound again. Louder this time. The vibration traveled through the walls and floor. And suddenly Hyunwoo understood what it was. It's a distress call. The realization made his throat tight. That's what young animals do when they're separated from their family. They call out hoping someone will come. Vrakons are social animals? Young Mi asked. I don't know. But this one is calling for someone who's never going to answer, because it's been alone its entire life. The creature's marks pulsed in sad purple waves. It made the humming sound again, quieter now, lost and lonely in a language no one else spoke. Hyunwoo made a decision. He didn't ask permission, didn't wait for approval. He simply started to stand up, moving as slowly as he had moved all day. The crew immediately started protesting through his earpiece. Sit back down, Daeshik ordered. Hyunwoo, don't, Jiwon pleaded. That thing will rip you apart, Bora said. But Hyunwoo kept moving, kept his movements slow and steady. The creature watched him with all its eyes. Its claws flexed. Its damaged arm twitched. But it didn't attack. It just watched. When Hyunwoo was fully standing, he took one small step forward, then another. The crew went silent. Even their breathing stopped. Hyunwoo was closer to the creature now than any human had been while it was conscious. Close enough to smell it, an odd scent like hot metal and ozone. The Vrakon could kill him in a second. One swing of those claws, one bite from that mouthful of teeth. He would be dead before his body hit the floor. Hyunwoo extended his hand slowly toward the creature's damaged arm. The one it held close to its body. The one that hung at a wrong angle and caused it pain. He didn't touch it, just held his hand near the injured limb, palm open. A question without words, may I? The creature's eyes focused on his hand. All of them, completely fixed on that one small human hand. Its bioluminescent marks flickered rapidly. Red, orange, purple, blue, green, every color dancing across its armored body like it couldn't decide what to feel. Everyone watching through the security cameras held their breath. Hyunwoo could hear his own heartbeat pounding in his ears. Maybe the creature could hear it too. Slowly, trembling, the Vrakon extended its damaged arm toward Hyunwoo's hand. The movement clearly caused it pain, but it kept reaching until their skin made contact. The moment they touched, the creature's bioluminescent marks erupted in cascading waves of gold and green. The colors raced across its entire body in beautiful patterns, and it made a new sound. A deep, rumbling purr that resonated through the entire lower deck. The sound was so loud that tools on shelves rattled. The floor vibrated, and Hyunwoo felt it in his bones. A sound of pure relief, pure joy, pure gratitude for one single moment of gentleness in a life filled with pain. "That's impossible," Bora whispered over the comm. "Vrykons don't purr. They can't. Their vocal structure doesn't allow it. But this one did, and it didn't stop." It purred while Hyunwoo gently examined its injured arm. It purred while he carefully touched old scars. It purred like it was trying to make up for a lifetime of silence. Captain Taewon's voice came through the earpiece, quiet and wondering. "What have we done? What have we been transporting like cargo?" Hyunwoo looked into the creature's eyes. Not monster eyes, not killing eyes. Just the eyes of someone who had finally, after so many years, found a gentle touch. Something that needed help, Hyunwoo said. Something that everyone called a monster, but nobody bothered to understand. The creature, the Vrykon, leaned its massive head carefully against Hyunwoo's shoulder. Still purring, still glowing gold and green, and for the first time since it broke free from its restraints, it looked peaceful. The blast doors finally opened 6 hours after the containment breach. The crew stood in the corridor with weapons ready, expecting to find blood and horror. Instead, they found Hyunwoo sitting on the floor with the Vrykon's massive head resting in his lap. The creature was still purring, its bioluminescent marks glowing soft gold in the dim light. "Lower your weapons," Captain Taewon said quietly. "Nobody shoots." Daeshik stepped forward first, his plasma rifle pointed at the floor. He had fought in wars against Vrykon raiding parties. He had seen what these creatures could do to armored soldiers. But this one just watched him approach with calm, intelligent eyes. "Hyunwoo, can you stand?" the captain asked. "Yes, but I don't want to startle him." Hyunwoo carefully shifted his weight. The Vrykon lifted its head and moved back, giving him space. It stayed close, though, within arm's reach. Protective Jiwon came forward with her medical scanner, keeping her movements slow and careful. "May I examine it?" The Vrykon looked at Hyunwoo, then back at Jiwon. It made a low questioning sound. Hyunwoo nodded and spoke gently in Korean, the same tone he had been using all day. The creature settled down and allowed Jiwon to approach. "Its arm is badly damaged," Jiwon said as she scanned. "Old fractures that healed wrong. Nerve damage. It must be in constant pain." She looked up at the Vrykon with something like guilt in her eyes. "How have you been living with this?" Over the next 2 days, more information came to light. Young Mai dug deeper into the classified files and found things that made the entire crew sick with anger. The bioweapons facility had run for 12 years before the Galactic Authority shut it down. They bred 18 Vrykons for their program. Specimen 7 was the only one to survive past age 5. The files described the conditioning in clinical language. Electric shocks to teach aggression, starvation to increase hunting drive, isolation to prevent pack bonding, combat trials against other specimens to test fighting ability, and always the pain. They wanted to see how much pain the creatures could endure before they broke. Specimen, and the Vrykon sleeping peacefully in the cargo. Bay with Hyunwoo sitting guard had endured more than any creature should have to survive. The scars covering its body were a map of every torture session, every experiment, every moment when it was treated like a thing instead of a being. "I can't send it to that collector," Captain Taewon said. They were gathered in the meeting room while Hyunwoo stayed with the Vrykon. "I won't put it in another cage." "The contract is legally binding," Daeshik pointed out. "If we break it, you'll lose the ship. We'll all lose our jobs and probably face criminal charges." "I don't care." The captain's voice was steel. "I've transported cargo for 20 years. Never once did I transport someone against their will. And that creature down there, it's someone, not something." Minseo pulled up a screen showing news feeds from across the galaxy. "It might not matter what we decide. Someone leaked the security footage. The whole galaxy has seen Hyunwoo touching that Vrykon. They've seen it purr. The video has been viewed 3 billion times in the last day. The footage showed the moment when Hyunwoo reached out his hand and the creature reached back. It showed the explosion of golden light across its body. It showed the beginning of the purr that made steel walls vibrate. And it showed a human being gentle with something everyone called a monster. There are protests on 15 worlds, young me added. People demanding we release the Vracon, animal rights groups, anti-slavery organizations. Even some military veterans groups are saying that what happened at that facility was wrong. The collector is threatening to sue, Bora said. Says we damaged his property by allowing it to form an attachment to a crew member. His property. Jiwan's hands clenched. It's not property. It's a living being that feels pain and fear and apparently gratitude and affection. A message came through from Galactic Authority. Captain Taewan read it aloud to the crew. The Authority was sending a frigate to intercept the Celestial Harmony. They wanted to reclaim Specimen 7 as experimental government property. They claimed the creature was dangerous and unstable. They said it needed to be properly contained and studied. They want to put it back in a lab, Minseo said quietly. Over my dead body, Haewon spoke up for the first time. The pilot was usually quiet, but her voice was hard as stone now. I've been running numbers. If we push the engines past safety limits, I can get us to the sanctuary systems in 3 days. They don't recognize Galactic Authority jurisdiction there. That's desertion, Daeshik said. That's throwing away everything we've worked for. Is it worth it? Captain Taewan asked. All of you need to decide. If we run, we can never go back to Authority space. Our careers are over. We might face arrest if we're ever caught, but that creature down there gets a chance at freedom. The vote was unanimous. Even Daeshik, who had fought Vracons in war, voted to run. What they did to it was wrong, he said. War is one thing. Torture is another. Hyunwoo named the creature Duho, which meant guardian in Korean. The name felt right. Despite everything done to it, despite every reason to hate all beings, Duho had chosen to trust. Had chosen to be gentle. It guarded Hyunwoo while he slept. It made soft questioning sounds when Jiwon came to treat its injuries. It even allowed Minseo to examine its damaged arm, though it clearly didn't enjoy the attention. The crew learned to read its bioluminescent patterns. Gold meant happy. Green meant calm. Blue was curious. Purple was uncertain. Red was afraid or angry. And sometimes, late at night, when Duho thought no one was watching, the patterns went dark completely. Those were the moments when Hyunwoo would go sit with it and talk softly until the colors came back. What do you tell it? Young Mai asked one night. She had brought food for both Hyunwoo and Duho. The Vracon ate carefully, trying not to frighten her with its teeth. Stories about Earth, Hyunwoo said. About forests where creatures live free. About rain and snow and seasons changing. About my family's rehabilitation center where we helped injured animals heal. Do you think it understands? Hyunwoo watched Duho's eyes track his movements as he spoke. I think it understands that someone cares enough to talk to it. That's probably more than it ever had before. Jiwon made a breakthrough on the 3rd day. She had been studying Duho's genetic code and comparing it to wild Vracon samples from the Galactic database. What she found changed everything. Vracons are highly intelligent, she announced to the crew. Not just smart for predators. Actually intelligent. Complex problem-solving ability. Advanced social structures. Capacity for abstract thought and emotional bonding. They're closer to humans in cognitive ability than they are to simple animals. But the reports from the border wars, Daeshik said, they described Vracons as mindless killing machines. The reports were wrong, or deliberately misleading. Jiwon pulled up brain scans. Look at this. Duho's brain shows activity patterns consistent with self-awareness, emotional processing, even something like imagination. The bioweapons facility knew this. They had to know, and they tortured a sentient being anyway. The weight of that truth settled over the crew like a heavy blanket. They hadn't just been transporting a dangerous animal. They had been transporting a person, someone who thought and felt and suffered, someone who had spent its entire life in cages and pain, never knowing kindness until a human engineer sat down on a floor and decided to see past the fear. Duho made its humming sound from the cargo bay. Not a distress call this time, just a sound to say, I'm here, where are you? Hyunwoo immediately got up to go back. He calls for you, Young Mi observed. No, Hyunwoo corrected gently. He calls for his friend. Maybe the first friend he's ever had. As he walked back to the cargo bay, Hyunwoo thought about everything that had happened. About a creature everyone feared that turned out to need comfort more than anything else. About a monster that wasn't a monster at all. Just someone wearing the scars of what monsters had done to it. Duho's bioluminescence brightened to gold when Hyunwoo entered. The big creature made a happy chirping sound and lowered its head, so Hyunwoo could reach the spot on its neck that it liked scratched. And for just a moment, everything was simple. No laws or contracts or consequences. Just two beings who had found each other in the darkness and decided that was enough. The message from the collector came through at 0600 hours. Captain Taewon listened to it with the entire crew gathered on the bridge. Even Hyunwoo was there, though he kept checking the camera feed showing Duho sleeping peacefully in the cargo bay. Captain Taewon, this is Collector Vex 9. I am aware of the security breach and the subsequent viral footage of my property. I want to make something clear. I paid substantial credits for Specimen 7 and I expect delivery as contracted. Any attempt to deviate from our agreement will result in legal action that will cost you your ship, your license, and your freedom. You have 48 hours to reach the delivery coordinates. Vex 9 out, the message ended. Nobody spoke for a long moment. He called Duho property, Youngmi said finally. Her voice was tight with anger. Technically, under current Galactic Authority law, non-registered sentient species are classified as exotic fauna, Daishik said. He didn't sound happy about it. Raycons aren't recognized as people. They're things you can own. That's barbaric, Ji-won said. That's the law. Daishik looked at Captain Taewon.
I'm not saying it's right.
I'm saying what we're facing. Another message appeared on the screen. This one was from the Galactic Authority frigate Justice Ascendant. Captain Taewon opened it. A stern-faced Talixian officer appeared. This is Commander Ren of the GAF Justice Ascendant. We are en route to intercept the Celestial Harmony. You are carrying stolen experimental property belonging to the Galactic Authority Science Division. You will surrender Specimen 7 immediately upon our arrival in 36 hours. Any resistance will be met with force. This is not negotiable. Two different groups claiming ownership. Neither one caring that Duho was someone, not something. Neither one caring that it had feelings and fears and a trust that had been earned through gentleness. The sanctuary systems are 40 hours away at maximum engine speed. Haewon said from the pilot station. We can't outrun a military frigate. They'll catch us before we reach the border. Can we fight them? Minseo asked. This is a cargo ship, Bora answered. We have defensive shields and one pulse cannon that's 50 years old. The Justice Ascendant is a military frigate with enough firepower to vaporize us in seconds. Captain Taewon stood and walked to the viewport. The stars stretched endlessly in all directions. So much space in the galaxy and yet no place for one abused creature to be safe. I need to know what everyone wants to do, the captain said. This isn't just my choice. If we surrender Duho, we keep our jobs, keep our ship, keep our lives. We'll feel guilty, but we'll be alive. And if we run? Hyungmi asked, though she already knew the answer. If we run, we're criminals. The Galactic Authority will hunt us. We can never go home to our families, never work legally again. We'll be fugitives for the rest of our lives. The captain turned to face them all. I won't order you to throw your lives away. But I won't hand Duho over to be tortured again either. So we vote, and whatever the majority decides, that's what we do. Can I say something first? Hyunwoo asked. Everyone looked at him. He rarely spoke up in crew meetings. I've spent 3 days with Duho. I've watched it learn to trust, watched it stop flinching when someone moves too fast. Yesterday, Ji-won made it laugh. Laugh? Daishik sounded skeptical. A happy chittering sound when Minseo told a bad joke while fixing its arm. It understood humor. It felt joy. Hyunwoo's voice shook slightly. Back on Earth, we had a saying at the rehabilitation center. Once an animal trusts you, you don't betray that trust. You protect it no matter the cost, because trust is the bravest thing any scared creature can offer. Ji-won spoke next. I examined Duho's medical records from the facility. The psychological reports, the ones they tried to delete. Duho scored highest among all specimens for emotional intelligence and capacity for attachment. That's why they tortured it more. They were trying to break those traits, trying to turn something gentle into something violent. They failed. Despite everything, Duho chose to be kind when Hyunwoo offered kindness back. The footage changed things, Youngmi added. She pulled up news feeds on the main screen. Look at this. Protests on 28 worlds now. There's a petition with 800 million signatures demanding Duho's freedom. 3 different governments have issued statements condemning bioweapons testing on sentient species. This isn't just about one Verkan anymore. This is about what we decide is acceptable. Bora, who had been quiet, finally spoke. I have a sister. She's 7 years old. She saw the video of Hyunwoo and Duho. She asked me why people would hurt something that can purr. I didn't have a good answer. She looked around at everyone. I don't want to tell my sister that I helped send Duho back to the people who hurt it. I don't want her to grow up thinking that's okay. Mincio nodded. My parents always taught me that strength means protecting those who can't protect themselves. Duho is stronger than all of us combined. It could have killed everyone on this ship, but it chose trust instead. That's real strength. We owe it the same choice. Dashik was the last to speak. I fought against Vrakons in the border wars. Lost friends to them. For years I hated that entire species. Blamed them all for what some did. He paused, looking at the camera feed of Duho sleeping. But Duho isn't those Vrakons, and maybe those Vrakons had their own reasons for fighting. Maybe I never understood them either. I don't know. What I do know is that I can't stand by while someone who offered trust gets betrayed. My hate doesn't go that deep. Captain Taiwan looked at each crew member. So we vote. Who wants to run? Every hand went up. All 8 crew members. Unanimous. Then we run, the captain said. Hey-1, set course for sanctuary space. Maximum speed. Ignore safety protocols on the engines. What about the frigate? Bora asked. Let me worry about that. Captain Taiwan sat down at the communication station. I'm going to do something that will either save us or destroy us. Young Mi, open a channel. Broadcast to the entire sector. What are you going to say? Jiwan asked. The truth, the channel opened. Captain Taiwan's face appeared on every screen within 20 light years, including the screens on the approaching military frigate, including the screens in the collector's personal quarters, including screens on thousands of civilian ships and stations and planets. My name is Captain Taiwan of the cargo vessel Celestial Harmony. 3 days ago, we experienced a containment breach. The creature we were transporting, Specimen 7 of Vrakon, escaped its restraints. My engineer, Hyun Woo, was trapped with it. He paused, letting that sink in. Everyone expected him to die. Expected the creature to kill him immediately. It didn't. Because that creature isn't a mindless monster. It's a person. He played the footage, all of it. Not just the famous moment of first contact, but the hours that followed. Duho learning to trust. Duho purring under gentle touches. Duho's intelligent eyes watching and learning and hoping. This being was tortured for its entire life by people who wanted to turn it into a weapon. They failed because you can't turn someone kind into something cruel, no matter how much pain you inflict. Duho survived by staying who it is, someone capable of trust and affection and joy. The captain's voice hardened. Now 2 groups want to take Duho back. A collector who sees it as property, and the Galactic Authority who sees it as an experiment. Neither one sees it as a person. Neither one cares that it feels and thinks and chooses gentleness even after everything it suffered. He stood up, looking directly into the camera. My crew and I refuse to be part of that crime. We refuse to betray someone who offered trust. So we're running to sanctuary space where Duho can be free. The Galactic Authority will call us criminals. The Collector will call us thieves. But we're neither. We're just people doing what anyone should do. Protecting someone who can't protect themselves from the real monsters in this galaxy. The broadcast ended. Silence filled the bridge. That was either brilliant or suicidal, Minseo said. Probably both, the captain admitted. An alert sounded. Multiple ships were changing course toward them. For a moment, everyone tensed. Then young Mai started laughing. They're not attacking us. Look. She put the ship identification on screen. 3 civilian freighters, a passenger liner, 2 independent security vessels, all moving to form a protective convoy around the Celestial Harmony. Messages poured in. Ships offering to help, offering to slow down the military frigate, offering to be witnesses if the Authority tried anything. In the cargo bay, Duho woke up from the noise. Its bioluminescent marks flickered in confusion. Hyunwoo was already on his way down. When he entered, Duho made a worried sound. It's okay, Hyunwoo said gently, scratching behind Duho's head. People are helping us. We're going to get you somewhere safe. Duho's mark shifted to soft gold. It made a quiet purring sound and touched its forehead to Hyunwoo's chest. A gesture of trust, a gesture worth fighting for. The Celestial Harmony raced toward sanctuary space with 8 other ships flying alongside it. The convoy stretched across space like a protective shield. Every ship had volunteered to help, risking everything to protect one abused creature and the crew brave enough to save it. Haewon pushed the engines beyond their limits. Warning lights flashed across her console, but she ignored them. 3 days to reach the border. 3 days to outrun a military frigate and reach freedom. The Justice Ascendant is closing in, Bora announced from her security station. They'll intercept us in 18 hours at this rate. Can we go faster? Captain Taewan asked. Not without the engines exploding. Haewon's hands flew across the controls. I'm already running at 115% capacity. Down in the cargo bay, Duho sensed something was wrong. Its bioluminescent marks flickered between blue and red. Uncertain and afraid, Hyunwoo sat with it, speaking softly in Korean, trying to calm both Duho and himself. We're trying to get you to safety, he explained, knowing Duho probably understood his tone more than his words. There's a place where you can be free. No cages, no pain, just open sky and room to run. Duho tilted its massive head, and its mark shifted to purple. Questioning. Hyunwoo pulled up a holographic display on his tablet, showing images of New Haven, the planet in sanctuary space where they were headed, forests and mountains and wide plains. Duho watched the images with all its eyes focused intently. See? Trees, space to explore, and nobody will hurt you there. He scrolled through more images. We'll all come visit. I promise you won't be alone. Duho made a soft sound and touched one claw carefully to the hologram, pointing at an image of a waterfall. Its marks glowed gentle gold. Hope, maybe, or just the dream of something better. Up on the bridge, another message came through. This one made Youngmi gasp. Captain, you need to hear this. The face that appeared on screen belonged to Commander Yoon Seok of the Justice Ascendant, but he didn't look angry. He looked tired and conflicted. Captain Taewan, this is Commander Yoon Seok. I'm sending this on a private channel because my crew is divided about our orders. Half of them saw your broadcast, saw the footage of that Vracon with your engineer. My weapons officer has a daughter who's been crying for 2 days, begging us not to hurt the creature. My medical officer filed a formal protest against our mission. The commander paused, rubbing his face. I have orders to retrieve Specimen 7 by force if necessary. But I also have a crew that's threatening mutiny if I fire on civilian vessels protecting an abuse victim. And honestly, I'm not sure I blame them. Captain Taewan leaned forward. Then help us, Commander. Look at what we're protecting. Look at who that creature really is. I've seen the footage, Yoon Seok said quietly. I've also read the files from the bioweapons facility. What they did was unconscionable, but I have orders. I have a duty. You have a choice, Daeshik interrupted. Same as we did. Same as everyone watching this situation across the galaxy. You can follow orders that are wrong, or you can do what's right. The transmission ended. The Justice Ascendant continued its pursuit, but it didn't increase speed. It just maintained its distance like it couldn't quite decide what to do. More ships joined the convoy. A medical transport, 3 mining vessels, a luxury yacht whose owner sent a message saying, I have more money than I can spend in 10 lifetimes, but I can't buy back my conscience if I don't help you now. The news networks covered everything. The chase became the biggest story in the galaxy. People on hundreds of worlds watched and waited to see what would happen. Would the Galactic Authority fire on civilians? Would the Celestial Harmony make it to safety? Would one tortured creature finally find freedom? Protests erupted everywhere. Millions of people marched on government buildings, demanding changes to the laws about sentient species rights. The footage of Duho purring under Hyunwoo's gentle touch played on every screen in civilized space. Everyone had seen a monster learn to trust. Everyone had seen what real strength looked like. In the cargo bay, Duho stood and began pacing. Its marks flashed red. It could sense the tension on the ship, the fear in every crew member's voice. Its damaged arm twitched and it made a low growling sound. Duho, it's okay. Hyunwoo tried to calm it, but the creature was too agitated. Ji-won entered carefully. What's wrong with it? It knows we're in danger. It wants to protect us. Hyunwoo approached Duho slowly. But there's nothing to fight. The danger is bigger than claws and teeth can solve. Duho turned its many eyes on Hyunwoo. Then it did something remarkable. It moved to stand between Hyunwoo and the cargo bay door, positioning itself as a shield. Its posture said clearly, you protected me. Now I protect you. Oh, Duho, Hyunwoo whispered. His throat felt tight. You don't have to protect us. We're doing this because it's right. But Duho stayed where it was, on guard. A creature that had every reason to hate all beings instead chose to defend the ones who showed it kindness, the ones who saw it as someone worth saving. Hours ticked by. The convoy flew deeper into space. The Justice Ascendant followed, still maintaining its distance. Then, with 10 hours left before the sanctuary border, something changed. The frigate sent a new message. This time, Commander Yoon-seok wasn't alone. His entire bridge crew stood behind him. "Captain Taewon, this is Commander Yoon-seok. My crew has voted. We will not fire on civilians. We will not capture a sentient being to return it to captivity. Our orders are unjust and we refuse to follow them." He took a breath. "Consider this our resignation from Galactic Authority military service, all of us. We're escorting you to the sanctuary border." The Justice Ascendant changed course. Instead of pursuing, it moved alongside the convoy. A military frigate now protecting the very ship it was supposed to capture. Young Mi started crying. Min-seo cheered. Even stoic Daeshik smiled. "Why?" Captain Taewon asked over the open channel. "Why give up everything?" Yoon-seok's answer was simple. "Because my daughter asked me what I did when I had the chance to do the right thing. I want to have a good answer." They crossed into sanctuary space 8 hours later. The moment the celestial harmony passed the border, alarms throughout the ship stopped. The tension broke. Crew members hugged each other and laughed and cried. Hyunwoo ran down to the cargo bay. "Duho, we made it." "You're safe." Duho's bioluminescent marks exploded in every color imaginable. Gold and green and blue and purple in colors Hyunwoo had never seen before. The creature picked him up carefully in its forearms and spun him around, making happy chirping sounds. The sanctuary government offered asylum to everyone on the Celestial Harmony and the Justice Ascendant. They also offered something else, a planet. New Haven, a frontier world with vast forests and mountain ranges, uninhabited except for a small research station, a place where a Vrakan could live free. 3 days later, Hyunwoo stood with Duho on a cliff overlooking endless alien forests. Real trees, real sky. Real freedom. Duho's restraints had been removed completely. Nothing held it here except choice. The creature looked at the open wilderness, then back at Hyunwoo. Its marks flickered uncertain purple. "It's okay," Hyunwoo said gently. "This is your home now. You can run. You can explore. You can finally just be." Duho made a low questioning sound. It took 3 steps toward the forest, then stopped and looked back, waiting. "You want me to come with you?" Hyunwoo laughed. "Okay, just for a little while." They walked into the forest together. Duho moved slowly at first, like it couldn't quite believe this was real. Then faster, running between trees, splashing through a stream, climbing rocks with its powerful limbs free, finally truly free. Hours later, as the sun set on the alien world, Duho settled down beside Hyunwoo on a hilltop. Its marks glowed soft gold, peaceful, content. It made its purring sound, and Hyunwoo felt it vibrate through the ground. "They called you a monster," Hyunwoo said quietly, scratching behind Duho's head the way it liked. "Everyone was so afraid of you, but you were never the monster. The monsters were the people who hurt you, the people who saw you as a thing instead of someone." Duho made a soft chirping sound. A question maybe, or just acknowledgement. "You know what I think?" Hyunwoo continued. "I think being strong isn't about teeth and claws. It's about staying gentle even when the world gives you every reason to be cruel. You're the strongest person I've ever met." Duho leaned its massive head against Hyunwoo's shoulder, still purring, still glowing gold, and in that moment everything was perfect. News of what happened spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The story of a human who touched a monster's scars and found a person underneath. The story of a crew who risked everything for what was right. The story of a military commander who chose conscience over orders. They started calling it the Duho effect. Other illegal bioweapons facilities were raided. Other specimens were freed and given sanctuary. Laws began changing. Debates about sentient rights filled government chambers on hundreds of worlds. And at the center of it all was one simple truth. A creature everyone feared had chosen kindness when offered kindness in return. A monster that was never really a monster. Just someone waiting for the world to see them clearly. 6 months later, Hyunwoo still lived on New Haven. The crew visited often. Even Commander Yoon-seok came, bringing his daughter, who immediately fell in love with the big gentle giant from the videos. Duho had learned to communicate better. A combination of bioluminescent patterns, sounds, and gestures created a language all its own. It had opinions about everything. It didn't like rain. It loved swimming. It was curious about everything and gentle with everyone. One evening, as they sat watching stars appear in the alien sky, Duho made a new sound. A complex series of tones and chirps. Hyunwoo had learned enough to understand. I'm happy, Duho was saying. Thank you for seeing me. Hyunwoo smiled and put his hand on one of Duho's scarred arms. Scars that no longer represented only pain. Now they represented survival, strength, the journey from nightmare to freedom. Thank you for trusting me, he replied. Thank you for teaching us all that monsters are just people we haven't bothered to understand yet. Duho's marks glowed brilliant gold, and its purr resonated across the hilltop. The sound of joy, the sound of peace, the sound of a creature that had finally, after so many years of darkness, found its way home. And somewhere across the galaxy, millions of people watched the footage and learned the same lesson. Real strength is gentleness. Real courage is trust, and real monsters are never the ones with claws and teeth. They're the ones who see suffering and choose to cause more.